Okay, should be recording now. So, real quick, can I just have you describe like the environment, like the room around you for a second?
Okay. I am in my kitchen. I'm sitting at the table. Um, it's a very bright yellow, cheery room. And I love being in here, especially because I love to cook for my family. And this is kind of the heart of the home.
Okay. Um, so my first question is, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Green Bank, West Virginia.
And how would you describe Green Bank?
Green Bank was just a part of a series of communities. It was not even really registered as a town. It was an awesome, idyllic setting, rural, lots of farms, and we never worried about anything. It was just we could go out in our backyards and um, play with friends. It was just, I think it was perfect for the times.
Hmm.
Very quiet.
Yeah. And so Green Bank nowadays, I hear that they don't have Wi-Fi there still. Is that true?
No, that's really not the truth. Because of the Green Bank Observatory and the telescopes that are there that are audio telescopes
Hmm.
um, using sound waves,
Yeah.
there is a restriction around a certain mile radius. It used to be 50 miles that you, which really is not true anymore because you can get Wi-Fi. People have it.
Hmm.
Um, when I go there, I can't do it at my mom's house because there's no internet there, but there's no Wi-Fi. But I can go about 7 miles away and sit on this certain hill and get look at my phone and get my messages. I have even received calls there. So that's really not true anymore, but they do still have to protect the area because they're listening. It's audio and they're listening, and so they don't need so many interferences, but people do have Wi-Fi.
Okay. Okay. So for my next question, what kind of hobbies did you have as a child?
Reading,
Mhm.
um, just playing by the creek, cheerleading. Um, I don't know. It was a pretty carefree childhood, so um, I don't know that I had any other hobbies or things that I enjoyed so much. I did love school.
And so that brings me to my next question. So what kind of student would you say you were in high school?
In high school,
Mm-hmm.
I was a very hardworking student. I would study at night for tests and be so convinced that I might fail that I would have my mother wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning to study some more, and always went into tests not feeling confident, but I did really well because I studied. I was not a natural student. I did have to study. Um, I made the National Honor Society, which was very exciting to me. Of course, it was a very small school, but that was something that I was proud of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, my next question is, what was your first job?
My first job, well, I did babysitting jobs, but my first job was actually working in a community about 7 miles away that was a state park called the Cass Scenic Railroad, and I worked in their restaurant as a waitress. And I did that the summer before my senior year, and I did it the 2 summers I came home from college.
And did you like that job or did you
I,
mainly?
I loved it. I loved it. I'm a people person,
Mm-hmm.
so I love seeing people and meeting people from out of the area. I really did like it. And there was not much of a choice of jobs around there, so I felt very lucky to be able to work there.
Okay. So my next question is, where did you go to college?
I went to Trevecca Nazarene University, which is called, sorry, it was Trevecca College whenever I went there, but now it's Trevecca Nazarene College in Nashville, Tennessee. Now it's Trevecca Nazarene University, sorry, in Nashville, Tennessee.
And what made you choose to go there?
My older sisters had gone there, and it was just it was a small private college. I think better suited for me than the state colleges at the time.
hmm And so, was it like a big change for you moving from West Virginia all the way down to Tennessee?
Yes, but because I'd been there so many times with our older sister and then the next sister, I was excited to go, and Barbara, the middle sister, was already there too. So um, at the time when we went there, like we didn't have a car on campus, so it wasn't such a big deal because it was a small college and my life was basically centered on that campus. So I didn't feel out of place. I felt excited about being there.
Okay, thank you. Um, thank you. Um, so, besides being a waitress, what other kinds of jobs have you worked throughout your life?
Okay, while I was in college, I worked in the cafeteria. I also worked as a secretary to a couple professors.
Mhm.
And then I also got a job through a study grant working with the Tennessee Cancer Society off campus. And then I was a teacher. And then I did direct sales for a while for a company and substitute teaching. That's the extent of the jobs I've had.
Mhm. And what was your college degree that you graduated?
My college degree was elementary education at that time, grades 1 through 8, with a minor in history. And then I went back a couple years later and got certification for kindergarten. So I had the degree for K through 8 elementary.
Okay. Okay. Um, Next question. What would you say you are most passionate about in life?
My family.
Family. And what is it about your family that makes you so passionate about them?
Um, I don't know. I think nowadays, because when my husband and I were moving around a lot, our children did not get to see their grandparents a lot. And I feel so fortunate to be in the area where I see my son's children and my daughter's child. I don't know. I think just family is just so important. I never want to be out of touch. I'm a kind of a mother hen about my family. I love to have them come to my home.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I think it's just my heart. My heart is just so full of love and joy about my kids and my grandkids
Mhm.
and my daughter-in-law and son-in-law. Daughter-in-law and son-in-law.
And so you were talking about moving around a lot. What all places have you lived in?
Okay, because of my husband's job with UPS, we started out in Tennessee, moved to North Carolina, went to Charleston, West Virginia, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Baltimore, Maryland, and New Jersey, and then down to Georgia.
Wow, that is a lot of moving. Okay, for the next question, how has religion played a role in your life?
Well, I grew up in a household with a Christian mother. That also took me to the college that I went to
Mhm.
and meeting a young man of the same faith and marrying him. I think in all of our moves, we found a church pretty quickly, usually with the denomination that we were affiliated with, and made friends very easily through that.
Mhm.
But I just see the hand of God on my life all the way through, and still do. I mean, I know that he provides for us every day, and through him, I've been able to give love, and I think have been able to show compassion and for other people easily.
Hmm. And you're talking about your mother. So how were your parents? Like, how would you describe them? How they were when you were growing up?
Well, my dad, we lived on a small farm, so my dad had a small farm to take care of, plus he worked a job elsewhere. So we didn't get to see him as much. He was a very loving, kind man to us, provided, well for us. Our mother also worked a series of jobs, from taking in ironing, cleaning people's houses, taking the census. Oh, just so many little things she did to help provide. My mother obviously was the um, caretaker of the children. She was very stern and firm, but um, loving. She might have been a little bit too busy at the time. That was just that generation to maybe have showed as much love as we can nowadays. But she was loving, and she took care, very very good care of all her family.
Hmm.
Family.
Hmm. Next question I have are, so you talked about some hobbies that you had back in the day. What are some hobbies that you have now?
Uh, taking care of grandchildren. I think it's a hobby. Tennis and reading,
Hmm.
watching crime shows. I don't know. That might be it.
Um, so, do you think growing up where you did impacted your current life, how you view life now?
I do. I do, because the values of the people from there were just, it was high standard. And I just mean in the way that they lived life. They were such good, caring people, worked hard, and I still believe in those same kind of things.
Hmm. Um, and you said like caring and hardworking and good-hearted. Uh, so my next question would be, how would you describe your set of values in life?
The same. I think I worked hard. I think I still work hard because I've taken care of grandchildren. I help my family when I can. Um, I think I'm also the type person that reaches out and cares and gives to people. Um, I just think it formed my life. I just saw how good they were and how good they were to each other. And that's what I've aspired to be, all during my life.
Hmm. Hmm. And so you talked about giving back. How important do you think giving back is, and how do you do that?
Well, I think that when circumstances arise and if you are able to give, you do it. It might be monetarily, it might be praying for someone, it might be providing a meal. I just think those are the things I learned from my mother and my community, that if you can give back, you do. And then sometimes you ask people that you've given to, I've said it different times, just just promise me, if a need ever arises and you are able to help in some way, do it, because you'll never regret it. It'll come back to you. I think just not, you're not expecting people to give back to you. You're not expecting them to do something for you. But I think just through the goodness of God, you're taken care of because you've given in some way just because you can.
Hmm. So next question is, what has been the best part of being a mother? Yeah, what has been the best part of being a mother? So to your two kids.
Oh gosh, just seeing them grow and be responsible adults, and I see the way they raise their families, and I just know that they've watched, they've learned from me as I did from my parents. So it's just a pleasure to know that they're both good, hardworking young people, providing for their families and loving their families too. Too.
And what has been your favorite part of being a grandmother?
Don't make me cry, Dylan. The same things. I've watched you grow into a young man that I feel like has strong values, um, a good kid. I mean, I just am so grateful that I've gotten to experience those times in your life, in Lainey's life, and Addison's life. Here's an 18-year-old, 10-year-old, and 1-year-old. And I've gotten to experience watching you grow. And I've been able to teach you a lot of things, I hope. And I've been able to show you love, which I think that all of you will never forget the love from your grandparents and your parents. So it's just a joy to watch y'all grow up and know you're okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Almost done. What what could you not live life without? Uh, whether that be a person or something you have or whatever.
It's just going to go back again to my family.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine the loneliness of people who don't have family that are, um, some families are not, they don't love each other. They don't get together. There's something that's, affected their lives that they just can't get over or something. But for me, knowing my family is a whole unit is, I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And let's see. Would you say you've lived a happy life?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived a very happy life. I've been blessed beyond measure with my family, the places we've lived, the friends we have. The neighbors in every neighborhood that we've ever lived. We've lived a very rich life. I think a lot of that, um, our moving around, we have friends all over. And I cherish that. I cherish my family. I cherish my friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So next I have so what are some of your favorite locations or destinations that you've been to?
Hmm. Gosh, I don't know. I loved living in the Maryland area where we had um, access to Annapolis and Washington, D.C. I loved living in Minneapolis. It was just a very different place to live, but just at that time was a wonderful city to live in. I love Utah. I love the difference in that place compared to where we live and all the things that offers. I
Mm-hmm.
have I have traveled to all 50 states,
Oh wow.
and I've just loved going all over. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've loved going all over and seeing different parts of the United States. I've only been out of the country, just barely into Canada and to Mexico once. I don't have a big desire to travel internationally. I'm very content with where I go, where I've been, and still have so much, I think, to experience even here in the Southeast.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you said you don't really have that much desire to travel internationally. Is that just what goes into that?
Um, I don't know. I love where I live. I love America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've studied a lot of history about a lot of places that, yeah, I think would probably be interesting to go to, but it's just not something that I think I'm going to do.
Okay.
Oh, plus, I don't really like to fly long distances, remember?
Yeah. All right.
Hawaii, of course, Hawaii could be a favorite place too.
Oh
I
yeah.
should have said that. That's the only place I'll fly to
Mm,
for a long distance, right?
yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about everything that I have. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your
Well,
input.
thank you for choosing me, Dylan. I feel
Hmm